All right. First of all, how dope. I don't know how these lights are doing this, but I am here for it. Let me just check everything. All right. Check, check, check. Okay. So first let's hide. Okay. So I'll actually no, I'll turn my camera off so you see all screen. Wait, that's not how you do it. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Where did you go, my phone? Right. Where are you? What the fuck? Refresh. Oh, that's why. Okay, there it is. Okay, so all right. So, well, first of all, there's 3 lines in Japan. Um, and I really like all 3 of them. Well, I really like 2 of them. One I love, one I really like, one um is also good. So this line, anything close to here is the Saturn midheaven. It's sharing, right? Yeah. Um, so the Saturn midheaven line, um, basically anywhere. So you can kind of like for all these, like think of like a circle. Like it doesn't have to be right on the line, like kind of like that. So Saturn midheaven is very good for career. It enables one to be very organized and very just responsible. So when you're speaking about working, like it's just really, really potent because Saturn, it's not the line that every other Saturn line is not good. One sec, I just felt like a weird stomach cramp. That was weird. Anyways, so yeah, Saturn on the MC is the one Saturn line that is good. Basically what it does is that it takes makes one very devoted to their career. It's really like points to like kind of the apex of one's like professional success. Lots of like recognition can come from like your hard work. One can become very successful, even famous. Just like it just gives one a lot of perseverance, follow through. So it's really good for especially like work that is needed to be done like in solitude. It's not just that, like it's like it can also be just as potent like working for a company. But I'll give you an example. Let's say I was writing a second book. I would look for where my Saturn MC line is, or if I had like a big project that I was undertaking that required a lot of self-discipline, and I would go there. A little bit of water. Obviously that's like the south of Japan. But yeah, so there's lots of commitment to career. In terms of like the dangers of the line, it can create kind of like a I'll show them kind of like attitude. Just potentially, right? So, but the key is that it can really create lots of refinement, and the ability to kind of sacrifice and really be dialed in for what you want to do. Now, what's interesting is you have Mars MC. So you see there's like this zone right here. So that all of everything in between here is going to be impacted by both of these. Now, Mars MC is very powerful for career. So MC lines are career lines, right? So Japan is 1000%. Well, this is we'll see in a sec because the moon ascendant is a very nice line. I actually live on that line. This one right here. I'll talk about it in a second. But Mars on the midheaven, it's the best Mars line. It makes one very like courageous when it comes to career, like taking on challenges, and even just like spiritual goals and just anything related to your overall dharma. It's like what I would call it like the pioneer line because it makes one very bold, even entrepreneurial perhaps. So it makes one more willing to just like really, really work and be very, very ambitious. So yeah, it's like if I like to kind of like give my takes like if I had this astrocartography chart, right? Everyone has a different one. And I wanted to really undertake something that required a lot of self-discipline. And I had unlimited budget to just like go and stay wherever. I would 100% like probably go like, you know, somewhere cool. Like, I don't know, in this area. I'd probably try to find like a city I like that was in the middle of two, but either way, um, they're both good lines. Now, obviously, Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, these are very populated, but we're talking more about Kyoto, Osaka. Those are still under the influence of the Mars MC, right? So that's very, very, very ambitious. Now, this line, the moon ascendant, that's like it's the moon, so it's gonna be felt more. It would, it's not far from Tokyo. So that is really about let's see what the degree of influence. Yeah, so in Tokyo you've got like a strong moon influence, and moderate for Mars, and the Saturn one isn't really influencing it. But moon ascendant, I live on that line right now, and it just makes it so you feel very at home and very nurtured, almost like you were like meant to be in that place. Like there's a feeling of of hominess and of being able to express your emotions, your moon sign. Um, as a Cancer moon, that is very important. Um, so um, yeah, it just moves. It kind of like makes it so you're able to really like have emotions at the forefront of everything in your life. And you know, um, like you really wear your heart kind of close to your sleeve. Um, it's way easier to kind of open yourself up like emotionally and kind of being tuned with like just like the energy of that location. Um, and it's very good for helping others, and also just for just feeling like this emotional freedom. That's like a big one, I would say. Like emotional expression, emotional freedom. So very good. Now one moment. So um, Hong Kong is where you were born. So the energy is not it doesn't change. Like it's exactly the same as your natal chart. So astrocartography doesn't really matter when we're talking about where you are from. But if you're from somewhere where there's a bad line, like for you, it's like close to Pluto descendant, which can create lots of power struggles in relationships. But yeah, overall, it doesn't really change anything. But like for example, for me, I live on like, or I was born in San Francisco, and I have Pluto IC in my natal chart, so I have Pluto IC over San Francisco. So whenever I go back to my mom's, I feel just that insane pressure. But Pluto descendant, it's not as hard as Pluto IC. Obviously, Pluto IC is probably the worst, top 3 worst in astrocartography, and I'll tell you where all those are for you. So yeah. So you said New Zealand, Australia, Japan, US. So yeah, I don't think Hong Kong has anything different. So let's look at Australia, why don't we? So, wow, look at you. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So this is amazing. This is what's known in astrocartography as the fame line. Sun midheaven over Sydney. Oh my God. Many think of that as the best line in astrocartography. So it's really where we can achieve like professional success, gain recognition for our accomplishments, like really advance socially, get very lucky with like the people we meet. Just so good for career. It is the best. Like the fact that it's over a major city, and even like Brisbane and like anything here, like this whole coastline, you know, maybe Melbourne is like a medium influence, but like definitely like all this is like so good. I know no one lives in these parts of Australia. Perth. Wow. So Perth, you have Jupiter descendant, which is a really nice one. I live close to that one actually. And that gives lots of luck in love, but not just love, in relationships in general. And you tend to meet the right people, and get very lucky with relationships. Um, very fortunate. And I want to go back to the sun one though, because like the sun, any sun line, you have to think that just like how the sun touches every planet in the solar system, it's the same in astrocartography. So, um, it's affecting every area of life. That's why I think the sun, the one over Sydney, is so fucking incredible. Now we also, these lines, as you can see, they track. The ones from Japan track down. You can see that like some of them are diagonal, some of them are vertical. So the midheaven and the IC ones, right? Midheaven relates to career. IC is more about the internal life and home and the unconscious. And the ascendant ones, the ones that go from east to west, like this one over Tokyo, those are related to the ascendant, so to the self. And the ones that go, well, it's a little bit complicated, but basically, so basically, it's not just east to west. I explained that wrong because you can see that they're circles, right? The ones that are diagonal are either ascendant or descendant, right? On different ends, because this one, like this big circle, is going to loop around and it's going to hit something over here, and that would be like the descendant. So, because you see that the one that goes over Perth, this Jupiter one, is also, going in the same direction, but there's other ones that are going in this direction. So, yeah. So yeah, the diagonal ones. So the descendant ones, like this Jupiter one, relate to relationships. They relate to other people. And so each planet has 4 lines. Excuse me. That was not a burp. That was a stomach. So yeah, amazing sun. Oh, I see a lot over New Zealand. But not all of these lines matter. I haven't figured out how to take, wait. And then an idea came. It highly suggests, wow, such an interesting birth chart. I don't think you ever had your chart done. I highly suggest doing that at some point. As I see a grand trine, Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn/Mars. Interesting. More Mars. A water grand trine. Your 0-degree Aries sun. Let me know if you ever want to. I don't think you had yours done. Pretty sure you didn't. If you ever do. So let's see if this does the desired effects. It did. Oh my god! I just figured it out. So I got rid of all of the unwanted planets or asteroids. So not many people live in this part of New Zealand. But this is a great line. It's a Venus midheaven, and it just promotes it. It's another midheaven one, so professional. Venus obviously is the planet of beauty and the planet of good fortune. So, well, Jupiter is good fortune, but it's a benefic planet. So, it like that line is good for love. All Venus lines are, but um, it basically gives like a lot of harmoniousness in career. Um, it's very good for intimate relationships. So like under any Venus line, you might like find love there or with people who are from there. And usually very like spiritually nourishing unions. So yeah. But then this one, so as I told you before, this is the same line that went over close to Tokyo, the one that goes through New Zealand. That would affect every Auckland and even Wellington. And it's the exact same thing. The moon ascendant, the one about comfort and being able to really feel at ease. But so I think anything like that for me, that's the only line I live close to, and it's amazing. And I think that it is just when you have the moon as a foundation for everything. So when you live somewhere where you feel emotional nourishment and like you can really be yourself and all that and feel at peace, everything else becomes possible. Okay. Need to do this thing because my program fucks up. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Now I see. So I don't really feel like I need to talk about the middle of Australia because I know you're not going to live there. I saw a video recently that talked about how like 90% of the population or something lives here, some huge percentage, and then the rest, and then some people live in Perth. Um, but anywhere in Australia, good, and New Zealand also. And so far, the places you've mentioned have been with great lines. You also said U.S. and then DC, Europe, Canada. Okay, and even Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. And there's even more lists. Okay, let's just start here. Um, Africa, European, China, Philippines. Okay. Anyways, basically everywhere. Um, so the Philippines. So this line is Chiron IT. I think that for a living, it can bring up a lot of internal pain, but also potential for healing, but it's not one of the more fun ones. Um, but Chiron, in astrocartography, some people, I mean, yeah, Chiron definitely is showing up. Is it's important. And so Chiron I see is one of the difficult ones, but also we can come to terms with like a lot of our struggles. Um, so just like it's a great place for healing because we come in contact with or assisting others, but it can bring up a lot, is all I'll say. That same Jupiter descendant line goes very close to Jakarta. And you see that it goes through Malaysia, close to the capital, and right through Bangkok. Wow. Like this line is really carrying us. And also through Burma and up through this part of mainland China. And you'll be able to see like a map of this and really, it's too far zoomed out. But you see how it just continues to go. So we'll see where it goes after. Mhm. So China, I don't really look at the North Node lines because they're not planets, unless it's like a crossing line. China doesn't really have, cool. Hold on. Yeah, so as you can see, like this, very, you know, a lot of parts of China are very populated, but so I this section of China, like the very edge, where I guess where it borders like with Russia, has that same energy of that Japan, with the Saturn and the Mars, and then Mercury MC also, and then South Korea also has this, right? So the thing though is that this is the dotted Chiron line, the one about pain. So this one is difficult. You can always visit. It takes a while to set in, right? But for the outer planets, right? But yeah. Mercury midheaven, that's just really good for networking. I don't consider Mercury lines like super, super like major, but it just for working, for example, like South Korea would be amazing because like Mercury MC just makes you more talkative, better at networking, better at like being more talkative and curious about your kind of environment and exploring. And interested in getting to the culture. And then it's also like with the Saturn. So Saturn and Mercury is that combination is like really good for intelligence, and so South Korea could be very good too. And yeah, with China, like I said, this Pluto descendant is not a good line, but it's not like it's just a line. It's a line that you know well, so it's not anything that's detrimental. But there's not really any lines in mainland China besides this one that goes through this. I don't know what province this is. Um, this one, the one that goes close to Perth, is very good. So that would be the place to go in China, and you see how it just goes through so many different countries. Okay. So yeah, it's interesting because the sun, the fame line, it goes over these islands, but I don't know anything about them. Um, like New Caledonia is amazing. Like this area has a crossing a moon Venus line, so it's gonna be a great place for you to like go someday, like around whatever this island is. But yeah, New Caledonia, I don't know anything about it, but really, really good mix of just feeling at home and feeling nurtured, and then also just experiencing beauty. Great vacation spot if it's a good place to go. Let's see here. So you mentioned Cambodia. Well, Cambodia, as you can see, would actually be, depending on where you went in the country, if you were like on this side, close to this line, it's really, really good. But if you're more like over here, you'd be further away from the line, and it would have more of a neutral energy. So these two lines that go through this part of India and Nepal, Bangladesh, and mainland China, and then just up to this part of Russia and kind of side Mongolia. Mongolia doesn't really have any lines really, but these lines are very good for like spiritual, for like, well, one of them is really good for like, so this Uranus MC is really good for careers, for kind of being very inventive and creative and innovative in terms of career. And then the Neptune MC line is just, any Neptune line is gonna bring a lot of like beauty and spirituality. But it can also bring deception. But in midheaven, it can be really good for spiritual work, right? Like retreats, stuff like that. So it could be a great place to do like, yeah, any kind of like spiritual work. So yeah, or even like art related fields is really good for that. Anything that you have to use your imagination for, movies, all that kind of stuff. And then like the Uranus one is just, it can also, yeah, like I said, like it can bring like lots of radical shifts also with career. Make one like a kind of a pioneer, humanitarian too. So then you have Venus, beautiful line that goes right through this part of India. Venus ascendant. So on a Venus ascendant line, like if I was single and I was like, I want to go somewhere where I feel very attractive, people will be attracted to me, my aura will be very attractive, I'd go there. It literally makes you more attractive, on an energetic level and physically, and you are, can be attracted to people from there. And just really manifest a lot of beauty in your life. Um, so yeah, also just prosperity and just success in profession, and it just kind of chills life out. It makes you enjoy it's good for money too, enjoying the finer things in life, right? Um, no, me kind of right now. But yeah, the Venus MC and the Sun are the two best for love stuff. And the thing with Venus signs sometimes is, so it's amazing for like vacations and just for spirituality and getting creative. Um, and it carries through to the stand. It goes to Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, to the middle of Kazakhstan, but it's close to Astana. And this is a icy moon line, and that's a good one because you're Cancer moon. So Kazakhstan has good energy. And then you have a sun ascendant on the other part of Kazakhstan. And that's another, like I said, sun lines, you just have this like great massive aura, and it makes every part of life really good. Living on a sun line is just like you feel very, very in your own power, but not overpowering. Um, so yeah, you see Uzbekistan has like this whole area has sun, moon, Venus. So it's like three. This moon line is interesting. It can make one a little bit moody, but like being a Cancer moon, it, it's good. And it's like the emotional life, really kind of the home instinct, mothering instinct, and how like that kind of part of life can dominate. It can really feel like a strong sense of like belonging and centeredness in all the moon lines, especially this one. Um, and then of course like the sun ascendant, you know, just like I said, personal power and leadership, right? Very good for business. It is you want to shine, and you do shine naturally. Um, so like the possibility of like really getting major success is super high there. Um, and like I said, sun lines are everything lines. Yeah, all right. So these same no, these are new. So Mars, Saturn, Mercury, you see how in your chart they have the same um you see like Sun, Mars, Mercury, they're together in your chart, so they're together in your astrocartography chart. And this is the ascendant version of them. So this is like really about like around these lines, like like in these areas, you'll feel very a mix of communicative, but also like responsible, but also like very explorative. Um, and it goes through, you see Azerbaijan, Iraq, close to Tehran, and then to the Horn, not the Horn, that, yeah, like Somalia, and but like this part of Africa, which I'll go into Africa in a little bit. Um, Also important to know that that sun line goes through this part of Pakistan, and that moon line, the one about like feeling very good emotionally, goes through Afghanistan, Kabul, this part of Pakistan, and then this very end of India. So between here and here could be really, really nice place to visit in this coast, you know. Kerala is down here. Heard good things, but I know like Goa and these places have some cool stuff. Um, so this line that goes to Syria and parts of Russia is can create lots of like if you like relate like wounds around relationships can be the theme. It's not the most fun. And I'm gonna just go to Europe and then kind of work my way around. So best line in Europe right away is this bad boy right here. Jupiter MC, and it goes straight through Africa too. So it's hitting ugh. So it's close to Oslo. Um you have a crossing line here. But it goes through Berlin, Germany, close to Prague, Czech Republic, and through Austria. This line is kind of like it's almost like the fame line in terms of how good it is for success. If people ask me like, what are the two best for success? It's Sun ascendant and Jupiter, or Sun midheaven and Jupiter midheaven. Um, really, you can rise so much in social and business status. And really just like attract people to you and be a leader. Also very spiritual. So yeah, it's just lots of luck. And it goes through also Slovenia and I think Italy. Yeah, it goes through like you see here through like the kind of center of Italy. Also Libya. Through through Sicily and then just the center of Italy. Um Now you see there's some crossing lines too. So you have ascendant in um the ascendant Neptune and Uranus. So the Uranus one we're tracking here, um along that line, I know it says Yugoslavia. They need to fucking update this thing. But this is Serbia. Um well, I guess they just don't have Montenegro is here. Hmm. Anyways, but yeah, this is all Serbia. Um, so yeah, along this line, Clues, that's where I live. You'll feel very like individualistic, like you can be your own, like be your own person, adds a lot of excitement to life. Uh, Sometimes you can be a little bit erratic, a little bit random. Things are exciting though. So if you need to shake things up, that line is nice. And it also goes through kind of close to this very bottom of Italy and through Tirana, capital of Albania. But those types of lines, yeah, I don't know. See, the thing is, like with net, but like you feel them, but that you like the personal planets, like the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, like you feel those ones like instantly. The other one in Jupiter, I would say probably too, but the Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Chiron, like those take a while to really, 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 really be felt. You still feel them, but not like right away. But Neptune, though, I've noticed, like, so you have the Neptune ascendant that goes through Sicily. So you have a crossing line in Sicily, which is very next to Pat Evan, which is really interesting because um those two combined, it's like the ultimate spiritual, but also like being able to work really, really hard, but be also like have a very deep kind of spiritual life. My experience and just like my experience with Neptune lines is that they give like this feeling of like otherworldliness. Like it's like you travel. So especially since you have it over Croatia, which is fucking gorgeous. Like you literally feel like it's just like another planet. Like you're just like, this isn't real, and you see that one carries through Hungary and Bosnia and Italy and Africa. We'll go in there a little bit. So the other big one is this moon descendant. So you see how it goes through Finland, not Helsinki. This is my friends from Tampere. This is a cold part. But it goes close to Stockholm. Um, so moon descendant's an interesting one because the descendant's about relationships and basically like it's like one of the most relationship centered lines possible. Um, so if you have like a job that involves like clients, it's really good. It makes marriage very almost like irresistible, and there can be like almost like codependent potential at its worst. But big need for like emotional support and closeness to people. So sometimes you can attract like needy, emotionally dependent types of people, even like energy vampires. Um, so at the same time, Moonline is the moon. So there's that level of comfort. It goes over Stockholm and the coast of Stockholm and um, it goes close, through the Netherlands, Belgium, middle of France, close to Paris, Bordeaux, French, by the way. And you just see its trajectory. So there will be level of comfort, but there is the need to like watch out for like that need for relationships and through Madrid. And yeah. So United Kingdom, we have no lines. Um, unfortunately, your icy Venus doesn't. Maybe yeah, it just goes to the middle of the ocean. It's common. Or your icy sun goes to the middle of the ocean. Unfortunately, your icy. We'll go to Africa in a sec. So they have a lot of the same lines. There's not that many lines in Europe, but it's not a good or bad thing. But um, one thing is this Pluto MC line. You see that just goes straight down here through Ukraine, through Turkey. That's like a very powerful line for just like being able to like change your life, like just like be like a powerful leader and just change your whole life professionally and like really make powerful changes as a leader. So speaking of Morocco, that same moon line goes over Morocco. You see it goes through Rabat, Casablanca, and kind of close to a lot of like, the coastline of Morocco where most people live. Also through Africa. And then your Venus IC, which is like just such it's almost a line where it's like so many good things come that people can get lazy there. It goes through these countries over here, Guinea, Senegal, and also through, is that Mauritania, right? No, Mauritania's here. Is this, what's it called? What, like West Africa? Sahara, I forget the name of this country. But yeah, I mean, it's close to like this very end of, edge of Morocco and these islands, La Laguna. I think it's Cape Verde, or Cape Verde is further. Cape Verde is here, right? So those same lines about like individuality and spirituality go through these areas. The Neptune one goes through here. Kind of through Tunisia a little bit. Can make Tunisia a interesting place to visit. But then you have a crossing line in Libya, Tripoli, which is Jupiter and Uranus, which combined equals expansive individuality. Now, tracking this Jupiter MC line, this amazing line, it goes through Libya, Niger. So it's going through lots of parts of Africa that are not really inhabited by many people, but then it goes through Angola, on the coastline of Angola. I forget what, I think Luanda is it around here, I forget. But like that line can kind of be tracked, and even Namibia, and then it's kind of a little bit far. I mean, it's a moderate influence of Cape Town. Um, so that same line, that Pluto MC, which is so like dynamic, but you have to watch out for like having too much obsession when it comes to like your kind of career life. Um, it can make someone very, very hungry for power, um, very competitive. Um, so also like there can be like lots of just burnout can come, just intensity, right? Like excess, but also it can just push you to your limits. And if you do have a good relationship with power and with balance, it can be just very powerful. It goes through Cairo, and I said through Turkey, Ukraine, and Sudan and these places. So Uganda and Durban. And you have a ascendant Mercury through Durban too, so that's place two. That one just makes you more talkative, makes you more communicative with your environment. As I said, Mercury lines are not something I focus on so much. Um, and yeah, I already talked about like the Mercury, Saturn, Mars combination in your chart, which makes you really intelligent memory wise and cognitive wise, and then also being able to put force to it. Now that kind of covers all of these areas, as you can see. I already talked about that. Um, So yeah, that's not close enough to Moscow. Don't matter. But this is the one that has to do with like difficulty with relationships, but potential for um, real healing in that area of life. Um, so any wounds around like love, sex, intimacy, they can make teamwork pretty rough. So yeah, not my favorite one. So far, we haven't seen a lot of the really bad ones. Are they hiding from us? Or are they all going to be in North America slash South America slash Central America? So America, North America, um, well, not many lines, which is not bad. Not many lines isn't bad. It's neutral. Unfortunately, this Jupiter ascendant isn't a little bit more in here, but we'll see. It goes over the Caribbean. Okay, well, here's some rough ones. So, I see Neptune and I see ones are difficult. You can see it goes, this Neptune one goes through this part of the country, the US, and the Neptune one goes through, it's kind of like the flyover states as they're called, but Minneapolis, Kansas City. So it's not like the sexiest parts of the country in a lot of people's opinions, but, and then it also goes through Guatemala, this part of Mexico. Um, I think with the Uranus IC, we're talking about um just like it's difficult because it makes one like unstable within themselves. Um, feel it's like it's very unsettling. Like you're constantly moving in new directions, and um, there's not that feeling of groundedness. So yeah, there's that feeling of need to like escape all, like a need for freedom, escape all limits and definitions of who you are and all that. But because it's on the IC, it's more difficult to see, and that's why it can be quite frustrating. And then with the Neptune one, it can create like false hopes and delusions, um, and it can kind of create like a certain fog within ourselves, deep within ourselves, that makes it hard for us to see reality in a good in a way that's realistic. So it's very good for spirituality and spiritual healing or vacationing, but in terms of working, nah. And you see it just goes into the ocean or the Galapagos Islands. Should be cool for visiting. Um, so here's a great line. This is one of the best ones for love in all astrocartography, and it is going through this part of Mexico, kind of through the central part of Mexico, close Guadalajara, and through parts of Texas that not next to like the bigger cities. Um, kind of through like the where no one lives in Texas. And same with like Nebraska. Yeah. So those are like kind of, I mean, you would love these areas, but not a lot of them are where a lot of people live. But then you have Moon and Sun. So you have two amazing ones and they're relationship oriented ones. Oh no. Moon, because we were Moon midheaven and Sun descendant. So this is like the block of the US that is incredible for you. Sun descendant, um, everything, it Sun, remember it touches everything, so regardless of the line, but it does kind of make relationships really good. It's really, really good for, yeah, just building relationships of all sorts, partnerships of, like a lot of people like who use Astro-Cartography like will like go to that line to like do projects, kind of like I was saying the one with Japan. And just build really, really strong relationships with the people around there. And then it just creates lots of like success in those areas and really good for marketing. And then the Moon MC gives you a real like emotional, so like you see it's like, yeah, it's Montana, Boise, but then it's also um Vegas, Phoenix, Arizona. My dad used to live there. I love going there. Phoenix is close to that Moon MC. And Moon MC, it gives you like this need for professional status and success, right? Um, Also it's good for spirituality, makes you really connect with your emotions. And yeah, and just feeling this attachment with this place. So yeah, like the sun one, it goes right through LA. So that's cool in San Diego. So it's like that's having a sunlight over LA is amazing. Um, so those would be like the best parts of the US. So the Caribbean, so that Jupiter line that missed everything, that's so good. Jupiter ascendant, you feel so confident. It's just like your aura just increases by a million. It goes right over Dominican Republic and Grand Turk and into Colombia. Let's talk about it in a sec. Um, so you're lucky that, well, it's gonna hit some stuff, but two of the worst lines are right here. Talk about this in a second. These are so I see. So these two are together, Mars and Saturn. So yeah, like this will be a region to avoid. And then where's I see Pluto though, and then these two are better to not live in this chamber. I think it's mostly ocean and flyover states. And then I see Pluto goes through the ocean. You're so lucky. Look at you. So avoiding a lot of that. Um, so nothing over Hawaii. I don't count that one. Um, so yeah, I mean this ascendant Jupiter, just like so good. Um, just so good for confidence and charisma, you just have like a better life. You manifest so much on professionally and personally. And people see you in this big, big way. What's happening? So that line is this one, right? And it goes through, you know, Dominican Republic and then through the top of Colombia and then through Peru. So or Ecuador, I mean, and Peru. So it's going through Bogota, and it's just it's gonna affect uh all of the coastline pretty much of of Colombia, which is amazing. Um, and then even like this part of Peru. Now, like I said, you're lucky that these two and that the Pluto IC are not crossing. anything, or just, it's going through like just like this, and that this one, well, this one's really good. So sadly, this one doesn't get to really hit anything besides like Alaska, and then the icy Pluto, which is horrible, also doesn't really get to hit anything besides Anchorage, Alaska. So don't go there. Don't live there. You can visit, but this would not be a good place. Like, you have Mars and Pluto and Chiron. So Alaska you might want to avoid. But if you went, it wouldn't kill you. Um, so yeah, South America has some difficulties. I talked about some good things. Um, so Pluto ascendant, it kind of goes to just like the middle of the continent. So it's not, I mean, this is like the Amazon, Guyana to the middle of Argentina, you know. But that one gives you like a lot of personal power. So, you know, Pluto, you always have to watch out for overpowering. So very scorpionic energy, like kind of the secretive side of Scorpio can kind of Pluto can kind of show itself there. But very passionate and competitive and very powerful. Um, so yeah, it's not a bad one. It's just like it's very energetic, but this is really, really good. Now, Chiron MC, not bad. However, and then this little mini gray one, that's not bad either. That's just the Mercury IC. It's literally like just the Mercury ones don't have that big of an effect, to be honest. You know, I mean, you just kind of understand the culture. But what's difficult, these two, you see this one here and this one, and it goes through Brazil, through like the populated places. Yeah, this kind of part of Brazil is fine, but like this area, stay away, because the Mars I see, you feel that one right away, and it's right by Sao Paulo. That's where I would avoid, is a cold spot like this kind of chamber. Whoop. Yeah, probably say no to that. Now, then you might ask, okay, what about Rio? Well, Rio, it's pretty close to that Mars I see. So, I mean, it won't be like as horrible as this one. Um, and over here, like the I see Saturn, it just creates a very like inner, like you just like the I see Mars, you feel this inner pissed offness, like just like you're like, why am I fucking pissed, And inner rage. And just need like, yeah. And then the icy Saturn, it's just these inner, like, just feeling like something stopping you, like a force is stopping you from within yourself, and it can make people feel depressed and bored and kind of go towards solitude, and it's not fun. So yeah, and then like this one is great for if you were like doing like a healing profession, but it's not a bad line. But it can be good for healing. Um, but overall, the Chiron MC is more for people who do things like I do, um, or people who want to go and like heal in some type of way, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, like it's good for like people who do like alternative health type stuff, and also just like good for like working through any kind of wounds in our like professional kind of like wounds we have towards like our like professional life. Um, so yeah, it can be good for healing, but yeah. So overall, Let's see. It couldn't have anything. So Edmonton had in Calgary we're close to that moon MC. So that's cool. And Winnipeg is close to that Venus descendant, the really good loved one. So that's like a place that could be interesting for that. Um, and these are the two that I said that were no good typically, and that's just like no man's land. I think. What else did you say? So yeah, with Canada, it's really straightforward. It's like avoid this block. There's not much going on in like Quebec or Toronto or anything going on. But Alberta has some good energy for you. And even like over here next to that sun line, it's good. So I think you should go to Sydney probably. DC didn't have anything. And you mentioned, yeah, so you mentioned Osaka and yeah, I mean like you're close to the Mars MC line. So you're gonna have like a very strong work ethic and a strong desire to kind of go out and prove yourself. But you need to kind of make sure that you're not overdoing it, right? Um, I talked about Tokyo. Okay, I don't know where these places are. So, I see. Ehime, Wakayama, Taylor, Wakayama. Okay, so Ehime is like right around here. So yeah, Ehime is amazing because it's like right between those two. And then Wakayama is over here. So it's like, very close to that Mars line. So it's the same as Osaka. Let's see if I can find Hokkaido on the map. I give up. Ooh, I was intuitively knew it. Wait, okay. So yeah, and I had a feeling that it was gonna be up here, but I was like, I didn't go all the way up. But yeah, so Hokkaido is it's very close to that moonlight. So it's a different energy in Hokkaido. But remember, this is the line I live on. I love it. It's amazing. Um, and it's a good mix of emotion, like feeling like emotionally kind of like in a good place, like centered, and then being able to kind of express yourself. So I like that. So let me see here. Okay. All right. Well, you said also Russia, which, I looked, it's obviously such a big country. Um, the key is that you just, you just get what every line is. But with Russia, obviously there's a lot. But then there's parts, it's like like Chelyabinsk is like really good because you have your son, the ascendant line there. But I know someone from there, and it's not, necessarily what he considers a good place. And then you have that same energy over Ufa, um, like that I talked about, like with like the Mars ascendant. It's just very good for strong measured work. But I think with Russia, you'd probably be thinking more like around St. Petersburg. And St. Petersburg, you have the Pluto MC, which is the one that's like really, really powerful. People can be have too much power there. But yeah, and then there's not really much else. Like this is the bad one for relationships, but also healing relationships. That's pretty much everything for Russia. All right. Well, that that was. You can't even see me at all, can you? Yeah, that was every single line. So you can always like look at that video, and if any other places come up, you'll understand. You feel free to like ask me, like you like if there's any questions or any places that I didn't cover that you wanted to know more about something. But should be pretty comprehensive. That's kind of how Astro-Cartography is. It just really really lays it down for you, and then and then So thank you so much, and let me know if you want to get a nail chart done. I'll give you a reduction on the normal price, and it's my best thing that I offer. I mean, I'm good at all of these, but nail chart, it's like my thing, you know, it separates me from the others. So thank you so much. I don't know why I blew a kiss, but ciao. Ciao, ciao.